So many people who impacted camping in so many different ways, but I think that all of them had a passion, such a passion for camping and the benefit that it gave to boys and girls.
I think they'll go on forever. It's a thing that's needed with the children to get away from the cities and to get where they realize there are other things more important than just cars and phones and videos.
What we do is important in the lives of children.
The individuals in the inaugural class of Texoma Camp Legends have experienced utterly incredible achievements and events in their professional lives that allow them to be called legends. These outstanding individuals have influenced the lives of many, many campers and have been role models for those camp directors who followed after them. We rejoice in recognizing the following individuals as camp legends.
Somebody starts out with nothing but an idea, a dream, a vision. They don't really know exactly where they're going or exactly how they're going to get there, but they just start putting one foot in front of the other. And they keep going, and if they stay at it long enough, they have an adventure, and then one day they wake up and realize their dream has become true. And that's really what Bill McKenzie did. So yeah, I would say Bill McKenzie's a legend. We would be here all day and all day tomorrow if I got into all the stories of people that have been impacted by Pine Cove, including me and my family. But it started very small. I was there when we opened our doors for the first week of camp, and there were only 14 campers, elementary age kids, that first night at dinner, and 21 staff. And most of the kids that were there had last names of board members and major donors. So it was a very humble beginning.
And you could see from the beginning the heart that Bill McKenzie had for families and for kids. It's amazing to think what he has done, or what Pine Cove has done through his leadership over the years. This last year, we passed the 1 millionth camper mark. And to think that a dream that started in the mid-60s turned into literally 1 million campers coming to Pine Cove. He has a passion for people getting away from their day-to-day living and experiencing the creation that God has displayed, and the opportunity that that has really to impact a young boy, a young girl, a teenager, a college kid, or a family.
You have a man of deep faith with a deep commitment to affect couples and families and an innovative spirit. That's Bill McKenzie, that's Pine Cove.
It doesn't matter what your background is, what side of the tracks you live on, the socioeconomic environment that you come from. Camping levels that playing field. He lived camping. He was a builder, not only of bricks and mortar, but of people. As a staff member, he became my counselor. He also became probably my biggest advocate and my toughest critic. There are examples throughout our relationship really where my goal was to measure up because Ray Bean set the bar. If you look today at the community of professionals, business people, attorneys, physicians, so many, particularly in our network, were influenced by Ray Bean.
He had a vision, he had goals in mind, and a very, very competent individual. I can't begin to tell you how much I learned from him over the years by just following his example of what he did. He was really great with people, with kids, with staff, with board members, just about anybody that he worked with. He had a little outboard wooden boat that someone had donated to camp in the frontier camp and the main camp were separated about 3 or 4 miles by water. Go back and forth between the camps when he was visiting the other camps. And you know, the staff, you know how staff are, they begin to make jokes about things. So they referred to him as Batman in his Batmobile. They referred to me as Robin, you know, not to us, but you know, in a kind of a fun way. And so I was inducted into the Legends of Camping in New York. In my bio, I gave full credit to Ray Bean for that, for helping me get to where I was in camping.
Not just a summer job, it's a full-time, year-round job, but a fun job.
We do the best we can and offer the best we can in camping.
My favorite memories of my father, Si, he always was looking ahead for the next thing, always looking for new ideas, always trying to improve on what had been done.
My dad, Si Ragsdale, loved camp more than anybody could love camp. As a child, he ate it up and never wanted to quit going and continued going through all of his college years and right after the war.
I think when I first met Si and we were dating, he always talked about camp and how much he loved camp, but he never mentioned owning a camp. And on our first anniversary, we signed the papers to buy Camp Stewart. He had notebooks, thoughts for the day, of programming ideas and everything that he had worked on throughout the time he was in the war, World War II, that is. He used to say that that's what kept him sane, that if he was down in a foxhole, he had a little notebook and he would jot down camp ideas and people that he met along the way that he thought would be so great and add so much to camp. I don't think there was any aspect of camp that he didn't just love. He never stopped being a camp director. 2 days before he died, one of the young campers, about 9, had come by with his family to see Si. And Si was sitting in the wheelchair in front of the fireplace. And so they got ready to leave, and the mother said to her son, "Now go over and shake hands with Si." And he did, and Si looked at him and said, "You didn't do that right. When you shake hands, you give a firm handshake and you have to look me in the eye. Now look me in the eye and let's do it all over again." And you know, that was really the last day Si talked. But he went out being a camp director to the very end.
Kitty McGee was the founding director of Heart of the Hills Camp, and I'm the director now of Heart of the Hills Camp. But so she mentored me when I was in college, right after we bought Heart of the Hills. She also had this way of making suggestions and guiding and improving things without coming across as being corrective or harsh.
Kitty, the minute you walked in the gates of Heart of the Hills Camp, Kitty was there. She's the first person you saw when you came in the gates of camp, and she is the last person that you saw at the end of the summer. Kitty was immediately a leader, mentor, but most of all, she was every single camper and counselor's friend, and we loved her devotedly.
Well, Kitty was a pioneering woman, and as a child, they say, she always had a ball in her hands, and she loved sports and doing outdoorsy things way before women did a lot of that stuff. And so I think I think she really smoothed the path the way for women in camping. I think that was one of her big contributions.
Well, Tex Robertson, who started the camp, just made it fun for everyone. Be away from home, be on your own to some extent, always get some merits and a few demerits along the way. He had a unique ability to communicate with kids. He was a great inspiration to kids.
Well, of course, he is a camping legend because he built something that has endured and grown and become such a part of Texas lore, and so many young people have been affected by having either gone to camp or been a counselor.
One memory of camp, amongst all of the wonderful counselors that Tex had, most of whom were guys that swam for Texas, the University of Texas, but you didn't go out of the cabin without shoes on because the rocks were so bad and the sandbars. And then when we went back in 1954, he had me out picking up rocks to create what he called a golf course, which once again was full of sandbars. Then when our daughter Lee goes to camp, we go down there for Visitors Day, and I see these kids running around barefooted. Well, Tex had planted St. Augustine grass everywhere, so where the grass burrs weren't a problem after that.
Camp Longhorn was such a great experience because everything is positive at Camp Longhorn. It's add a way to go, it's encouraging kids that they can do anything. I taught trampoline and swimming and different things where we just had fun, and we taught new skills to these young kids, and it was just a joy. It was always happy, always fun, and everybody was positive.